We got home yesterday from the workshop in Wilmington, and oh my God, the weather is amazing. So I'm just, getting back to work. I am putting away all the supplies that I took with us, and when we got home, these two packages were waiting for us. And I talked to you a little bit about the fact that I was trying to investigate about how to get on print on demand these posters, right? And there's a bunch of different places now. That was Spreadshirt. And to be perfectly honest with you, I liked it a lot. And then I was looking at other companies, and there's Printful. I haven't opened these yet, but I had a big issue with Printful. So when you Google print on demand, so what I mean by that is that I don't want to have to order, 100 and then store them, because we still have prints. And sooner or later, I'm gonna show you guys those and maybe hopefully put those on our store. There were prints that were made by Somerset, which it was a big print company. I don't even know if they're still around. And they did limited edition prints for both Scott and me. And so we still have those. I mean, it's oh my God. And then we did that really beautiful high-end one of Scott's Hand of Creation, and we sold half than those. And so we still have some of those. And it's just too much to try and package and ship those ourselves, because first of all, if people want them outside the country, I want people to be able to get them on demand, meaning you can choose the size you want. And I love the idea of it being oversized, right? So I'm going to open these up and I'm going to see how the quality compares from Printful to Spreadshirt. All these weird names. And I wanted to say the problem with Printful was, I thought, great, they work with YouTube. This is great. It's print on demand. You can do all different kinds of different types of objects, anything from bags to aprons to everything, right? So I ordered 2 different individual, and guess what? They never came. And so I kind of investigated, and I looked back, and within an email it says, sorry, we can't ship to you because your company name is too long. I was like, what the heck? So what had happened was I did not write it. I did not fill out. Do you guys ever know about these quick fill things? It automatically does it. And first of all, their website should make it so that at the end, before you click buy, it should say error, go back and fix, just like that always happens, with an airline ticket or something, you didn't put the state, or you missed something, right? It always says error, you can't click. Well, what had happened was it allowed me to click twice, 2 different things, but then later it said their company quick filled Susan Lyon and Scott Burdick Fine Art. I didn't write that in. It quick filled it, I guess, from some sort of something in Google, or I don't know. And then it was a pain to go back in and try and delete that and fix it and then establish the order. And then I had to have customer service on both of them. So I was like, well, what if somebody orders a poster from us and that happens to them? Well, then of course they're going to get pissed, and they're going to be unhappy. Usually what happens is whenever there's issues with orders, people just say, cancel it. I just don't want it anymore. So I'm going to open these up. I'm going to see what it's like, but I almost don't trust them, because I didn't do that. They did it, and whatever. So I'm going to open these up. I'm trying to be able to get a store at the bottom of my YouTube channel so that people can, because people do ask us all the time, hey, do you have this particular painting in print, in a print? And I'm always like, no. And then it has this sort of paper wrapping, almost like a sturdy tissue paper. Now, I did order 18 by 24, so I'm going to compare. They both come shipped rolled. Okay, this one is definitely matte. Now, they gave me options. I remember you could get glossy or matte. And I remember them saying that the matte was the more popular. like this one is a smidgen. You know how printers will sometimes give a little bit of a cushion, like a little bit of a size cushion. This one looks like it's just the tiniest bit of a cushion, plus I want to show you that this has a slightly white edge, which that one doesn't really, and it's not consistent, meaning the edge on the top, side, and bottom is consistent, but on the white, it's smaller. So I can tell. I'm gonna try and flatten it out a little bit and clip it to this board and show you some close-ups. I measured exactly this and that. Now in the computer, I had ordered 18 by 24 from both companies. Like I said, this one came out with a little bit of a white border, so I know that I'd have to slightly adjust that in the computer so I don't get any white. I think if you ordered an 18 by 24 frame, that would hide it. Okay, now the issue with this one is, I don't understand. It's so fascinating. Okay, I measured the actual face of this, and it is about 8.5, 8 3/4. I measured the face on this and it comes out to 10 inches. So those are things, that's why you always have to do a test also. I kind of like the idea of it being slightly oversized, because when you're getting a poster, it makes it fun to have a smaller painting get big. I like the glossy, but I like the color in this one. So I think I'm gonna have to order another sample of this, but maybe tweak the color in my computer and then order another one. Because it took me a little bit of time to figure out how to go in, change that, re-edit it, and then you have to, submit it to customer service. So I just don't want people to have to go through that. So I think I'm gonna stay with that, tweak the color. And I don't know, I think it's kind of fun that they actually made it a little bit bigger. Okay, so I just wanted to tell you about the two different companies and my experience with it. I think this painting would look a lot nicer with a gloss. I've opened this one up, and it's still, since it was rolled, it still, has that bit of memory. So all these posters, you just flatten them out, put them in between two pieces of gator board and a couple books, a day or two, and they're gonna be fine. Now, this one was 18 by 18, and when I measured it, it definitely came out 18 by 18, and it didn't have that white border at all. So that's the tricky thing, is that's why you always have to order tests. And in my computer, I can slightly brighten the reds or, work on the levels a little bit and then do another test, right? And so then that's how we all have to do it.
This is the next day. And when I woke up, I had an email from Printful. And read this. This is the email. Temporary pause on U.S. orders. So geez, this is another reason why I'm going with Spreadshirt. I haven't gotten anything from Spreadshirt yet, but I know that there's a lot of issues with shipping nowadays, so it's something we all have to look into. And I'm just hoping more companies open up in the U.S. so we don't have to worry about this in the future. And I hope this is a great price for you guys. Look at how big that print was, 18 by 24 for $35. And yeah, I'm pretty excited. I did tweak the colors and I have ordered another sample. But look at all these different things you can get. Posters, mouse pads, t-shirts, aprons, and I'm going to be adding more and more images. So I'll be posting about it in the future. If you guys have any particular paintings you'd like us to upload, please let me know. I would love to do it. I'm really excited about this new opportunity. This morning we're packing up this little sketch. I did this sketch years ago actually when I was trying to get over the fear of painting metal. So I would just set up different little pewter and silver plated creamers and little sugar bowls and things and try and just time myself actually. I mean, I would do these very much thinking, okay, what can I do in an hour? Pretty much no longer. I mean, maybe a tiny bit longer, but in general, it was like, okay, just be a computer. Just think about how the edge gets a little bit softer, gets a little bit harder. What are the least amount of strokes that you need? So it's just gratifying, you know. I have some of these sketches, and I have been bringing them out because I've been teaching still life, and I put them up on my store. And thank you so much for Jeanette for purchasing this and for supporting me, because being a self-employed artist, I have to constantly just keep reinventing, keep trying to figure out, you know, how to use my skills for sharing. And I'd love to give away meaning information as much as possible for free, but we, like anyone else, needs to figure out how to pay the bills. So thank you. Just wanted to show that this is going to be going off today. I want to profile this painting. It is a 16 by 12 watercolor on watercolor board. Let's see. Yep, just crescent watercolor board. Now this was done, now Scott is amazing at watercolor. He paints his watercolors very much in a direct way. In general, I don't see him doing a lot of what you call washes and kind of going from light to dark. He really goes in there, kind of like if you're doing a direct acrylic or oil painting, he just, you know, it goes right in. I mean, you can see that there is a little bit of transparency, and then using some opaque on the lights of the back of my hair, you know, but other parts, like here's a little opaque spot. But this was done, now it was done from a photograph, but when we were in India in 2018, and we were in Udaipur, and we had just painted a model outside in the courtyard, and I had just brought my little sketch into our room, and I was just sort of tweaking it. I was touching it up. And so Scott thought I looked so cool with like the rim light of the window behind me. And he likes to frame his drawings in watercolors as if they are painting. So there's absolutely no glass. So what he does is he literally just varnishes them, and he puts this could be washed. I mean, this is 100% sealed. And it changes it a little bit. I've tried doing that with a couple drawings, and I personally like my drawings to look like dry media, but all of pretty much Scott's charcoals and drawings and watercolors become very safe, and his drawings even start to look like paintings because they are varnished. But I think I'm going to put this up on our store, probably sold unframed. You know, if anybody is interested in this frame, of course we can send it framed, but it will be a little bit extra. But yep, this is a painting of me in India. Yesterday, I took huge boards. I think they're like 32 inches by 40 inch museum board. So this was the cream, and I tend to paint a lot on the gray where I just polyurethane it. But I had all of this canvas. We have rolls and rolls of canvases that are leftovers. We still have a whole bunch of them. And really, we don't want to use stretcher bars anymore. So, you know, you can add some and glue them onto just actual foam core. But yesterday, I took 2 big sheets and took different scraps of canvas. This is a pretty nice, very, very tight weave. Now, do I know what canvas this is? No. Now, there's different, I mean, we use the Clausens, but these look like, I mean, we've had these canvases for a decade, I mean, or more. So I don't know, but it's very, very fine weave. Anyways, I had Scott cut me a whole bunch of 9 by 12, a whole bunch of 6 by 8s, a couple little 5 by 7s just to get the extra scrap in, and 11 by 14. You see how thin these are. So I really wanted to have these because I do have these other boards, but these are either on wood, you know, and so even though they're still lightweight, they do take up more space than these super fine thin ones, right? Anyway, so I wanted to get these ready for our trip to Cape Town. And I think I'm going to bring 11 by 14 and 9 by 12. Or, gosh, I'm still debating because I have to bring wet carrier cases. Now, little 6 by 8s are perfect for me for doing little on the spot. And I can even do a tiny little head. Of course I can. But these would be perfect, like if we're going out to paint a little street scene or a little bit of rocks and water. I don't consider myself a landscape artist, so getting these little color sketches in 6 by 8s are perfect. I like using 11 by 14 for demos because I think they're not too big. You can still put a life-size head on it. 9 by 12s, of course, are better to travel with. I mean, you just think they can fit in backpacks or luggages. So I just wanted to say this is what we spent our day yesterday doing. And it's amazing how long that takes. But it's always a good thing to do to use up spare canvas. I love walking into the kitchen. And I loved this sweater vest here because you know how animals or kitties, they love to sleep on things that you wear. Isn't that adorable? I love how Fig always uses Theo as a pillow. Fig doesn't like to snuggle with us, but he sure loves snuggling. Theo, smile. Smile, baby. Okay. All right, don't smile. I am thrilled to announce that Scott and I will be taking a group for a 10-day all-inclusive 5-star safari in Kenya, November 2026, through workshops in South Africa. I hope you can join us. I'll be talking more about it, but I just wanted to give a heads up.